Welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be talking about how to trade Forex successfully. I'm going to give you 3 tips that I have picked up from working with coaches and alongside other traders in the BSC for the past year and a half now on what I believe are the 3 biggest tips that you need to follow to succeed trading FX. So let's get straight into it. Let's not muck around. We're going to jump into the first one, trading with an edge. Okay? Trading with an edge. What does that actually even mean? So for me, an edge in trading is an advantage, right? So first of all, there are many different ways to have an edge. You can be more disciplined than the next person. You can be more consistent. But for me, the biggest one that I like to look for is actually with a statistical edge in your trading. So when you're trading, you have an ability to beat the market over the long term. Now, this is typically strategy based, and I really like to have this where you have gone back through a rules based system. So you know exactly where you're entering, you know exactly where you're taking your profit, and you know exactly where you're putting your stop loss. From there, you're then able to go back and back test this and prove that it has an actual edge in the market. And what I mean by that is over the course of multiple years or hundreds of trades, thousands of trades ideally, you are going to be able to beat the market. That is what an edge is, okay? So first of all, it has to be rules based. They're the ones that I like the most because if you're starting out, I always find that people they've not got that experience and that discretion that they can apply into their trading. So for me, we found most success where people are able to follow a set of rules. So I would always recommend having a set of rules as your first sort of trading strategy to start with, so that you are reducing the amount of decisions that you need to sort of make. You want to make sure that it's been back tested over thousands of trades, ideally, because if it's not done over thousands of trades, you're opening yourself up to something called variance, okay? Which is what happens a lot in the short term. So over the short term, lots of random outcomes can occur, but over the long term, you're going to show that that edge is available over the market, okay? So we need to make sure that it's been back tested over thousands of trades, ideally, to give you the most statistical probabilities and trust in your system, because that's another thing. If you don't know if your system has edge, when you're going to go through a drawdown or a bad period, as every strategy does, you're then going to start to waver and start to think, is the strategy right? Is it wrong? Because you're not going to trust it. So the more data that you have behind it, the more you're going to be able to trust it, the more you're going to be able to look back over the past and say, yes, this did occur, this is normal, this is okay, this is within the realms of what has previously happened. And that can help you psychologically understand how long it's going to take to recover, get out of your drawdown, etc. So the more data you have, and trading with an edge is going to be a huge one. I see lots and lots of people putting trades on in the market and don't know whether they've actually got any probability or expected value with the trade that they're putting on. Now for me, that is just called gambling, okay? And we don't want to gamble. We want to make sure that the trades that we're putting on over the long term are going to get us paid. Okay? And then, like I've previously discussed, there are many forms of edge. It doesn't just necessarily come from your strategy. It can come from the way that you handle yourself. You may be way more consistent with your journaling. You may journal more than anybody else. You may go into more detail, more nuances. You may show up every single day. You may have an edge of your self-awareness, of just how self-aware you are of your abilities and the signals that lead you to go on to tilt and make mistakes in your trading. Many forms of edge. But the biggest one for me is obviously to start with, at the start of your journey, is to very much trade an entry that has edge in the market that's going to help you move forward in your trading career. Now the second one, this is huge. This is by far the most important on this one, is managing risk, okay? So this is tip number 2, managing risk. Now, the aim of the game at the start is just purely and simple to make it to the next year, survive, okay? And if you do that, you're giving yourself the opportunity to learn, gather the data points that are going to help you improve, okay? And one of my biggest tips for people starting out, again, just like we do with your trading strategy, is have it rules based. Know your position size is going to be X if you grade your trades. If you don't, make sure that you are following rules. The more rules you have, the more structure you have around your trading, the easier things are going to be at the start, okay? We don't ever want to leave things to our second nature or guessing, anything like that at the start, I would recommend. So start off by saying that you're going to risk X if Y happens, and then you're going to take profit at this level and you're going to reduce risk at this level. Make sure that you have them rules based. If you don't have anything like that, you can please go and check out like the ASFX starter pack where there's 3 to 4 strategies, all that are all very rules based, and you will learn to understand how and where to manage risk. One of the best things about the ASFX starter pack. So the thing that for me is you want to be sticking around, okay? Because like I've said, that's where you're going to learn. There's only one way that people exit this career, and that is because they just lose too much, right? They over risk. It's the only way you can lose all of your money. It's just over risking. If you were to take trades at 0.5%, 1%, you'd have to lose hundreds in a row to blow up, right? So we want to avoid that blowing up. That's the first and foremost thing, is just not blow up, right? We need to manage risk, and to do that we want to put safeguards in place. And what are safeguards? So for me, safeguards are a max loss on a day, so if you reach that you walk away, max loss for a week, last max for a month. But then also it's about taking it that one step further. It's all very easy and well and good saying, okay, right, I've hit my max loss for the day. But then it needs for me to take it to that next level. You want to say, right, well, what are you going to do? How are you going to reflect on what you've done that day that led to that max loss? Was it just a bad run with your strategy? Did you go on tilt, etc.? And we need to review that. So you want to be putting some safeguards in place. Maybe you go and speak to an accountability partner. You go and speak to your mentor, whatever that may be. You need to make sure that there are things that make you stop going on tilt. And then also, if you do go on tilt, because I know that a lot of people do and you have to make these mistakes for yourself, is how do you avoid it next time? That's what this for me a safeguard is. We put these rules back in that say, right, we've made this mistake, okay, we accept it, we've screwed up. How do we make our mistakes less frequent and less damaging? This is all part of that survival process during the first few years. Is because it will happen. It's very, 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 very likely that you're going to have a tilt day, you're going to have a really bad day, but we need to make that sure that we are not continually making them mistakes over and over and over again. So if you were to take anything from this, it would be managing risk and make sure that you have very stringent rules in place to how much you're going to risk and how often you're going to risk it. So like I said, max loss, daily max loss, and rules to what you're going to do when that does occur are the ones that need to keep you safe. Okay, it's also going to stand you in good stead because later in your career, from building a track record, from taking prop challenges, there's all very, very important rules on the drawdown and the downside risk. Risk is more important than percentage gain in this game, right? And the sooner you understand that, the better. Now, the next one that I want to discuss is finding a community. And the reason why I talk about this being a tip to successful Forex trading is it's important to any trading, right? Okay. And finding a community in any walk of life will help you get to where you want to faster. That's what this is about. A community is about surrounding yourself with like-minded people that are trying to achieve what you are trying to achieve, or who have already achieved what you are trying to achieve. That gives you the opportunity to learn. It gives you the opportunity to learn from people that are where you want to be, but it also gives you the opportunity to learn what not to do. Now, this is a hugely valuable part of any community, is there are going to be people that aren't succeeding, right? And that gives you a great opportunity to learn what not to do. A lot of the time you can understand what to do, but you also want to be learning and studying what not to do. If 80 to 90% of people lose market, lose money in the market, what do you need to be doing to separate yourself from them? Being surrounded by them kind of people you can learn from. Maybe it's on your Instagram feed, your Twitter feed, whatever it may be. Find that community, learn. There are so many people out there. We're in this digital age where you can learn from everybody. Okay? The other thing for me that I like about community is it just helps you get there faster along. Like, I don't know any professional athlete, CEO who hasn't got multiple coaches around them and a team of people that help them achieve that collective goal. They're all trying to work together, right? And being part of that community, you're going to find the people that you resonate and connect with, and you're going to help each other, because you do, like we say here, go further together. If you want to go anywhere fast, you go alone. If you want to go further, you go together. So with people, you're going to be able to hold yourself accountable, share ideas, work together, and that's going to help you get to where you need to get to, right? Like I said here, so nobody really makes everything. You don't make it to the pinnacle of anything on your own. You have to be around people, right? And so find yourself a community. Go and do your due diligence. Find who is succeeding the most, who gives you a community that is fair and supportive and encouraging. You don't want to be surrounded by a lot of negativity. And there are groups out there like ASFX in the VIP, for example, one of the friendliest communities that you will find. Okay? The other thing is trading's a lonely place, and there's no place lonelier than being in a drawdown and having nobody to talk to. You want to be around people that have experienced that, so they can give you guidance and help and support you along that journey, because there are going to be a lot of tough times in your career as a trader. Whether you're at the start, middle or advanced, there are going to be times where it is very, very tough and lonely, and you can't always rely on the people outside in your family, your missus, like I say, brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers. They may not understand, they don't understand, they may think that you're gambling, etc. In as a community that are where people are succeeding, you get the opportunity to ask them and how to deal with things, and them words of encouragement are really going to be key in going back to that first point of survival, because when the going gets tough, that's where a lot of people are going to quit, and that's the point where you need to stick through and continue to grind, and that is so much easier when you have people around you. Okay, and then finally, the last thing is make it fun, right? Trading can be a little bit boring at times. All you're doing is clicking some buttons. So it's important to have a community around you, just to have a bit of a laugh now and again, get together, share some ideas, and just ultimately just have a laugh. You need that camaraderie. It is a tough career, it can be boring, and that's going to keep you going. Having a laugh and a joke with people is what we're here for. It's what we were put on this planet for, is to have a laugh with people and enjoy our time together, right? And you will find that in a community. If you find like-minded people, you're going to have things in common, and you can have a laugh, and it just makes this journey so much more enjoyable. So there you go. Very quick video today, just 3 tips for me to trade Forex successfully, and any market really. It's not necessarily just Forex. Trade with an edge, manage your risk, and find a community. Them 3 things are going to really help your trading moving forward.